Friday. Hope everyone had a blessed week. It's Friday. So today I'm gonna do a small haul and go over how I water my Sansevierias and set them out to dry. So it's a process that I do. But I'm gonna go ahead and start off with my small haul. So I only have two plants today. And I've been doing pretty good. It's if you're trying to put yourself on a no buy, or if you're trying to discipline yourself on buying house plants, a good way to do it, well, it's probably not, but then again it is, because it's really hard to find when you have so many, to find something that you don't have. So my new thing is I'm not buying any more plants unless it's a Sansevieria that I do not have, and I have over 30 different ones, and peperomia I don't have, which I have quite a bit of them. I don't know, I may only have 10, and there's a lot of those, but it's hard to find different ones, and I'm not ordering online. Only Sansevierias online. I may order some philodendrons in the future now that it's summer online, but I don't think I'd order a peperomia online just because of they're so delicate. A lot of their foliage is pretty delicate, and or Hoyas, I don't think I'd order them online either. I'd have to find a Hoya that I've never seen. But I may in the future get one of those. But anyways, enough of my rambling on. But so that's pretty much my new thing, is to buy plants. And it's certain plants. So the philodendron, Hoya, peperomia, and Sansevierias. Those are the only plants that I'm going to be basically buying here on out, because those plants, it's going to be a year now that I've been a plant mommy, and I started off with Sansevierias, and I'm a true collector now. So my collection, that's where I'm going into being, is just a collector. So from here on out, I'm actually getting rid of a lot of plants as well, if they're not in that, in that category. Some may stay, some I'm just going to be giving away. Mother's Day is coming up, so a lot of people's going to be getting plants. So that's a good way if you want to try to clear out your plants. Also, since it's summer, to clear out for new plants, So anyhow, we're looking at a red edge peperomia. I do have the tricolor one like this, or the I don't know, it's a tricolor or something like that. It's variegated, but this one is the red edge peperomia. I got this at IKEA, I believe $3.99 from IKEA, with tax like 4 something. But it is the red edge peperomia. So this one, the edge gets brighter, I guess, red if you put it in more sun. Not really harsh sun, but yeah, and she was in pretty good condition. There was just a few of them there, and I was like, okay, great. So I put her in some terracotta, let her dry out, because, of course, she was pretty soaked. So I'm glad I got her. I probably saved her life. So, yeah, so this is a good, plant to add to my collection. I like the look of it. She's really pretty. She had a little bit of, damage, which is normal. That's why I really don't like having peperomias delivered. It's better to go pick them out, because their foliage is really delicate. So, yeah. But she's ready to probably be watered this weekend, because I let her dry out pretty good. And I got her, I believe it was last week, I got her. So, yeah, so she's a cutie. And she's got a new growth coming in. This is pretty, makes me happy. And another one, so she's pretty happy. Okay. So that's her. clear this off. So I hope you can see. It's pretty bright. I don't have a professional camera. Like I tell everyone, I don't plan on. I'm not a professional YouTuber. Don't want to get paid from them. I just make these videos for myself, just to pretty much for my family, and I appreciate everyone who watches them. I think I've said that several times, but I don't have an editing. I don't have any way to do any. This is an older Android tablet, and this is as good as it gets. So I'm hoping everyone can see the video. You know, the plant. I wish I had better equipment, but I don't plan on buying any more. This is good for me, and you know, so this is this cutie. Next, I was gifted this beautiful Sansevieria. Now, this came from a nursery that I go to. It was a bigger, you know, it was in a big, huge pot, and she basically broke it down for me, and you know, but it was labeled as Silver Queen, but I'm believing it's a moonshine, but I don't know. You know, you never know. It can. The thing is, which I'm pretty certain of. So the moonshine, if you notice, these leaves are a little bit fat. Now, if all the leaves were skinny like this, like these, which this could have been two plants and they stuffed them together. I don't know. I won't know till this plant really matures. But more than likely, it's a moonshine, because the moonshine leaves are very thick. Let me show you. So here's my little moonshine, and you see how she pretty much looks the same as this plant. Now, a moonshine, so they have the Silver Queen, they have the moonshine, and they have a silver Hannah. I think I've talked about this before with Sansevierias. You have they come in three different, you know, three different shapes, I guess you could call it. Well, they come in actually four different shapes, because you have cylindrical, then you have your skinny, narrow, and they're really tall and skinny leaves. Then you have the leaves that are fat like this. They come out pretty thick, like that moonshine. Here's another example how this is pretty wide, you know. And then they have the skinny ones, skinny tall ones. So they have the skinny tall ones, which I believe they call those the like Viper bowstring, something like that, because it looks like a skinny tall bowstring, I guess. Then you have the compacta, which the moonshine. So Silver Queen is the long skinny one. Then you have compacta, which is the moonshine, which the leaves come out like fatter. Then you have the bird's nest or the Hannah style. So I believe this is actually a moonshine. It was a gift, and I'm very appreciative. It's pretty much a cutting, and we just, you know, I stuck her in some. She was already in some dirt, and they gave it to me like that, free. But it's not the nursery's fault. It's really the person. People who grow Sansevierias, a lot of the times the names are mistaken, and it's easy to mistake. But I'm starting to get to know Sansevierias pretty good, and reading and studying constantly, that I'm starting to catch on to how they're set up. And you'd have to be a true know Sansevierias to understand exactly, I guess, what I'm talking about. But anyhow, this was gifted to me on Easter. I was so happy. So I got her, and she came with some good soil and stuff. So I didn't really have to do nothing but put her in terracotta, and I sprayed some neem and gave her some cinnamon, you know, on her roots and whatnot. Not her roots, her the rhizome, because it generally you with Sansevierias you have to break them. The rhizome you have to break it. It's like a carrot, but anyhow. So this is I was gifted her, which I was really happy. And they were very nice to do that too as well. It's a nursery I go to a lot. I'm not gonna say any names because I don't want the people thinking they're all so. Anyhow, but yeah, so I was really happy. I got this on Easter. She's a nice size. I it's okay to have a couple moonshines. I would have liked Silver Queen, and we thought it was labeled as Silver Cream from the grower, but it's not a Silver Cream. I believe it's a moonshine. So that's her, which I didn't have to buy. So I only bought one plant last week, a peperonia, and I haven't bought any this week, which I'm pretty happy about because I haven't really seen something I don't have out of the little category. So it's really helping me to do that way. So I don't just buy random plants because I like them. And a lot of times I go to nurseries and I'll just grab a plant and it's like, I don't, this is pretty and I'll buy it. And it's like, okay, when I get it home, now you're kind of getting boring. So, but yeah, so that's that. So now I'm going to go ahead and get into how I water my Sansevierias. So here's one already sitting in this. I love this bowl for watering, which I'm going to be trying to find me another one of these because I only have one. This is a perfect thing for underwatering. It's just a little bucket I got from my 99-cent store, which I'm going to go find some more because this one is the only one I have, unfortunately. So, but you see how tall it is. So I'm able to, it's not too deep. And I'm able to pour enough water for at least, I could have got 4 inches in here, but I have 3 Hoyas that are in 4-inch pots, and then I have a Sansevieria that's in a 6-inch pot. This is a cylindrical, so I have her. She now, when you're feeding them, you know how they have different types of fertilizer, the kind you can put in water. They have the worm casting, and then they have the Job's fertilizer sticks. These all have the Job's fertilizer sticks. I believe they only last a few months, but what I'm going to do is continue to either use Job's or the fertilizer sticks because those are easy. And when you're bottom watering, you don't have to worry about nothing because the water soaks up into the soil. And then the Job sticks are just their release, slow releases. So once the water hits it, it melts pretty much into the soil. That's the best way to describe it. But bottom watering is really good for Hoyas, for one. For Sansevierias, really for any plant. I have a Monstera Addisoni in this bucket right here, soaking up, and then this is just a big bowl I have for that Monstera Addisoni. But the bottom watering, I've found, for one, helps with the soil not being wet to the top because I pretty much pull them out because the roots aren't way at the top of the soil. So you really don't need the top of the soil wet. If you feel, what I do is touch and feel, get down in the middle to see if there's water at least when I put my finger in, but I don't want the soil to be really wet at the top because once again, the roots are at the bottom. So when you bottom water, if you think about it, especially if you let your plants dry out, like Hoyas and Sansevierias, Addisoni's, philodendrons, most of those plants want to dry out before you water them. So that means the soil is pretty much dry. When you bottom water, they're soaking it up, and you know that the roots are getting that water to the because when you top water, for one, it causes gnats. For two, you gotta constantly do it a few times. Now, if you're leaching your plants, which is good to do once in a while to leach your plants, but I put mine in the shower, and except the Sansevierias, they don't need to be really leached. But that is just basically you're running water through. You're just constantly running the water through the soil, cleaning the soil out. Basically, that's what leaching is. Some plants you have to do that, but majority of all my plants, I bottom water. So, but yeah, so you're definitely, the roots are getting wet. They're soaking up that water. Then it rises up, and once you feel, if you could put I put my finger in, and right here, that first node, if it feels wet, soon as I hit that first node, then I pull it out. Just that's how I do mine, because I don't want the soil at the top really wet. Um, it's gonna eventually soak up anyways, and it'll get wet within the next day, with the next day or two, or up. But when it's in terracotta, these are all in their nursery pots, the Hoyas. I've seen, even though Miss the plant finale lady, the top head honcho of YouTube, I seen her put her Hoyas into terracotta pots, and I don't even think anyone went into her comments and said anything about it. But if she did it, hey, you never know. So, but anyways, this is a terracotta. Terracotta also sucks up water, wicks up water into the pot. So, you're doing double thing, and it has one hole, but it's still sucking in that water from the bottom. So, and you can actually even watch the water disappear too, and you know that it's soaking up. So, that's how I water my Sansevierias. Basically, I water from underneath, and there looks like a baby's coming up out of her. So that's pretty exciting. Let's get her. She's got a baby coming up out of there, and all these little babies should start fattening up because she's getting more light. With the cylindricals, the way you get them to get really bulky is they need a lot of light. So yeah, so that's one way. Over here, I'll go ahead and show. I have a Sansevieria right here. I'm gonna go ahead and pour her. That's why I need another one of them buckets, because that is time consuming, and I don't have to worry about each individual. So I got her. This bowl's about halfway of the pot. I pretty much look to see, and so that's good enough for her. And then I'm gonna go ahead and pour some in this glass bowl. So these are glass bowls. You could use whatever kind of bowl, but I like using the glass. And so I got her pretty much filled up. You see how much water I have looking through the glass. And so they're being underwatered. All these plants have Job's fertilizer sticks, the slow release fertilizer sticks. So they're pretty much fed already. Same with those Hoyas and that Sansevieria that I just showed you. Next, what I do is, so I let them soak pretty much the whole day. I know that sounds, it's supposed to be 30 minutes. I let them get a good soak in. And then I pull them out, and then I sit them on racks like this. These are little cupcake racks. This is a glass table. And so what I do, like all of these ones already been watered, and they all was in that red bucket that I just showed you yesterday. So yesterday these ones were watered, and they've been sitting out pretty much all day, and I'll leave them out probably till tomorrow, because these ones are going to be needing the racks. So it's like a rotation. So once I'm gonna so when I finish with them sitting on here, they sit on these racks, and I wanted to show, let's see, I took the rocks out of my plant because those rocks do save water in them. They look decorative, but so here I'm thinking, so when I'm taking the rocks out, I'm feeling something, and boom. I didn't even think, I was just saying, like, this star plant has not grown or did anything for me, and lo and behold, she got a little baby coming up out of there. So I'm pretty excited about that. I didn't know what it was. I felt something hard. I was like, ooh, that's a baby. So she has a new, with the cylindricals, I believe they grow out. Like, at first it comes out, and then it's going to end up doing its own thing. So there's a little pup for her. She's coming out. So that's why I like making these videos, because I'm able to also, I'll be able to look back at this next year and say, oh, okay. So yeah, so I put them on these cupcake racks. As if you notice, there's air for them to circulate from underneath, and if it was extra little water drippings, what I do is pull them out like this, drain it. This isn't done yet because I just put the water in there. Do like this real good, and then I sat them on the rack. That's pretty much the process of how I water my Sansevierias. So after they sit on this rack, once again, this is glass, so any little water that's dripping is going to go on this glass. Then I sit them on the little trays, terracotta tray, because that's also soaking up, pulling water down also, which is a good thing, having the terracotta drip trays. They're expensive, but I only have a few of them because I don't keep my plants on the trays that long. And then once that process, like tonight, they'll go on trays. All these ones that's been sitting on there so I leave them on there for about a day or 2 days actually, and then I put them all on trays after that, and they go back pretty much where they belong for a while, and then I start the process all over again with other plants. So, but this is really with my Sansevierias now. My philodendrons, I do a different way, but with Sansevierias and Hoyas, this is like an extra, making sure that there is no extra water up in these pots, because they do not want no water sitting on their roots. So this is it's kind of time consuming, but it's not, because all you do is you put them all in a big old bucket, pour the water in there, pull them out, put them on these drip trays, leave them out overnight or for 2 days or however you want, and is getting that extra also underneath. So you see there's no extra, because even if you put them in the tray, there's on the trays, there's still dripping water in there, so there's still some water going to sit in there. This way it's all the way going out. So hopefully I explained that right and everyone's able to understand, and hopefully you can see the plants also. I don't have the brightest light or the most professional camera. I can't edit these videos. I don't have no way to edit the videos, and I don't plan on it. Once again, I don't get paid by YouTube, and these videos are basically for my own documentation, and I appreciate that. Anyone else who watches my videos, and I'm hoping I'm able to help other people with things, because I know I had to learn a lot from watching videos on YouTube on how to do things because I have a hard time learning, reading things, and I have pretty much a learning disability, I guess you could call it. So I have to teach, I have to learn different ways, and my way is watching over and over, reading over and over, and hands on doing it. So I've learned a lot by doing things. So hopefully this was helpful. If you have a Sansevieria now, these plants were repotted in March. I watered them the middle of March, and so it's been a month and some change, a month and a half almost, that they've all were left without being watered. In the winter, you can water your Sansevieria you can water it real good in October, and you don't have to water them again till March. They can sit over the winter. Don't you will kill I myself, one of my Sansevierias rotted out over the winter because I watered it at the wrong time and it was not having it. So you can, water them real good in October, like the beginning of November, and then don't water them again till March. Then when you hit March, you can either, repot, do whatever you're going to do, water them real good, and then don't water them again for a month. So every 4 weeks you can water them. Now, if it's really, really hot where you're at, I don't know. This is my environment that I'm telling you. I live in Sacramento, California. So this is how I water my plants. I don't have no air conditioning. I do, but it doesn't really get that cold, and it gets pretty warm in my house. And they're by southwest windows. So it may even be 3 weeks for them when it comes summertime, when it starts getting really, really hot. But you still, no matter what, you want them to be bone dry before you water them again. But once again, this is how I take care of my Sansevierias. This is my method. This is how I water them. And this is what works for me. So I'm just telling you how I do it. I'm not a professional Sansevieria grower or any of that. I just collect Sansevierias, and they're my favorite plants. So I'm very, very careful on how I take care of them versus all my other plants. I don't play when it comes to how I water them because that is their number one killer. You can keep them in the dark all day. You cannot even water them. Underwatering, they're not even going to die. Now, if you don't water them for, I don't know, a year, they're going to die. They'll probably dry up and dehydrate. But overwatering, if you want to kill a Sansevieria, just keep watering it and watch. It ain't going to die in 1 month, but in the next few months, you're going to start seeing it rot at the end, and they start rotting, and you'll see it because it gets mushy. Then they're going to start getting little fungus spores, and then you've lost that plant. So just letting you know, this is how my way. So these two will be sitting like this for a few hours. And then I can actually watch, when you have glass, you can actually watch this water start to go down. That means they're drinking. They're actually drinking the water. And then you know that root ball's getting touched. And then they'll go on these dryer racks, which I need to get me some more, but I don't like to water a lot of plants all at once because I want to monitor each one. So I try to do it in either 5s or 6s. And it's only once a month, really, all these plants, especially my Hoyas and Sansevierias. So anyways, I hope this was helpful. Hope everyone has a blessed day. I'm hoping if you do have a Sansevieria, I was able to help a little bit. Once again, where you live may have different environment than what I have. So this is just, but it doesn't matter what environment you live in. Don't water a Sansevieria if it's already wet. If the soil's already wet, don't water it straight up. So that's the key thing. Keep them in low light, bright light, medium light. Don't put them in a dark closet. They shouldn't have to suffer like that. They say they're low light plants, but they want sun just like all the other plants, and they're still cactuses no matter what. They don't want to be burned up, but they don't want to be sitting in the dark either. So, and then the fertilizer, they all have Job's fertilizer, the Job stick fertilizers. So that's pretty much their the water's been sitting out over 72 hours. It's just tap water that sits out in open containers over 72 hours. So that's what I used watering for. So I pretty much gave you everything that I do with the plants, with the Sansevierias. So I'm hoping that was helpful. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope everyone has a blessed weekend. Bye.